I'm Troy Thompson. Over the last 15 years, our family has worked hard to create a place we call the center of the universe. A place where our kids and someday our grandkids can come home to and laugh, have fun, learn how to work, pray, worship God, and be a place to celebrate life with all our friends. After a quarter century in uniform, I put away one set of boots for another, working on our acreage, improving the land, fixing some structures, and building new ones. We say, give back to the community, be useful, keep your hands calloused, and spread the gospel. This is a little place in a little state right in the middle of flyover country, from which cries out a voice in the wilderness to all who might want to listen, learn, and laugh along with us. This is our American dream. Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Sunnyside. Boy, I am glad that you are with us today because the weather in Iowa has been pretty good. And I don't know if that's global warming. I don't know. I mean, if it is, then bring it on. I'm for it. But I know that one of the things that we get to do here part of the year, and other places they get to do this year-round, is golf. And now I'm not a good golfer. That you guys know that my golfing skills and abilities are extremely limited. But I'm married into a golfing family, and they golf very well. My kids golf very well. And so we have a golf course membership, and I have a golf cart, which is in the barn right now. We keep it here in the winter. But the winter's turning into spring pretty quick. And as we head out onto the links and maybe try to get a little bit better, I thought it would be perfect timing to bring in a golf pro, an expert in the game, a coach in the game, and a guy with a lot of interesting stories and, I guess, insights into the game of golf, folks that he's met. And we're going to get to know this guy pretty well. His name's Mark Clouse, and he's in studio with me. Hi, Mark. Welcome to Sunnyside.
Thanks for having me, Troy. This sounds like a lot of fun.
Well,
yeah, golf is a topic that I think everybody can learn a little bit more about.
Yeah, you can. Well, I mean, let me tell you, there is a skill that comes with golf. Obviously, you have to develop that skill, and it takes a lot of practice. Like many things, doing things well, you have to dedicate some time and discipline to it.
There's no doubt about that. But you mentioned something there about Iowa.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize how golf crazy Iowa is.
Oh, really?
Iowa has more 9-hole golf courses than any state in the country.
Really?
And we've had more per capita golfers than any other state. You'd think Florida, Arizona, whatever. But remember, a lot of the people that go down to Florida, Arizona in the wintertime, where are they from?
Yeah.
They're from the north.
Yeah.
But, so they bring that passion back to Iowa and practice it in the summertime here and then bring it south in the winter.
We are I'd say we're a mid-sized, I guess we're probably a mid-sized state geographically, population-wise, very small, 3 million people. Mm-hmm. And yet, really, we have more 9-hole golf courses than any other state.
Just think about our area alone.
Yeah.
Every town you go through has a 9-hole golf course.
Yeah, you're not a real town, I guess, if you don't.
There's truth.
I'm just thinking now. Sorry, Fertile. Really,
Fertile can be included in Forest City.
Yeah, right.
We're in the same school district.
That's correct. That's how I look at it. Leland doesn't have one. The really small towns. You guys got to step up your game, get those.
Latimer, Iowa has a 9-hole golf course.
Latimer does. I didn't know that.
Yes.
And what's funny about Latimer, now that's why we drove by there to go to the state basketball tournament for the girls. Anytime you go down highway or Interstate 35 or up, I guess if you want, you got to get back home. I always thought it was funny that Coulter and Latimer are 1 mile apart from each other, like just separated by a highway. And I don't know if they thought that they were going to be the Twin Cities of the future, but they just never grew together. They're still 1 mile apart.
Don't they have, both of them have their own water tower, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they can't share a water tower. Then you're not your own town. No. Anyway, there you go. If you happen to be in that part of the state. So Latimer's got a golf course.
Have one.
Yeah, and Clemmy has one.
Clemmy has one.
Slippery Elm.
Slippery Elm.
Which is a great name.
It's a great name for a golf course.
Yeah. And we've got a great golf course here in Forest City. That's an 18-hole golf course, Bear Creek. And would you say that's a on the, I mean, you've played a lot of golf courses, but I feel like that's a pretty good golf course.
No, we're blessed to have an 18-hole golf course here in Forest City for a town our size, to have that caliber of golf course to be able to play here in the local area. Phenomenal. So it's a great attraction, I think, for somebody who's looking at possibly moving to town. You can have that quality of a golf course right in your backyard. And I literally do.
Yeah, but, you do. Yeah, you're out there on the golf course.
That was strategic, very strategic.
Well, I got to believe, and you kind of grew up there too, right? And you grew up on the golf course,
right across the street.
Yeah,
that probably was the. That's what pushed me more into it. I had started probably about the age of 10, just over at another 9-hole golf course in Clear Lake, that the par 30 Oak Hills.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
where a lot of kids get their start.
Yeah,
and that was a great way to get into the game. And then my family decided to build a house right across the street from what is now Bear Creek.
So you were in Clear Lake in
Forest City, but
that's where you built the house.
Just to get started, to go play. Yeah, for the first time, and that was my first 9-hole golf.
You talk about that, getting a great start as a kid, and in Oak Hills, that par 30. That's where my oldest boy Tate got his start. I just come back from being assigned to Korea in the Army, and my buddies and I decided to go golfing, and took Tate with me. I think he was probably 3 years old, and so he's got his little club. Maybe a couple of clubs with him. And just before we'd done that, we'd gone to Fertile, and we were at the William Rhodes Park, and I, being a good dad, home from Korea, just like play the music. It's a Lifetime movie. And, pushing him on a swing, gave him a loving underdog. He fell right out of that swing. It was spectacular, and hit the ground pretty hard. And was complaining, about his arm hurting and wham, all that stuff. And then we went and played, suck it up, and go play golf. And so he played that par 30 as a 3-year-old with his little clubs. And turned out he had broken his collarbone. So, there you go. And he still plays golf today.
Early training.
Yeah.
Early training.
You got to start young. You started at 10.
Yeah.
Some kids start a lot. Do you think that, that obviously helps?
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
Because, think about the strength that a little kid has. You can't hit the ball very far. You can learn about the game, start to love the game, but you're not going to be able to play a full-length golf course well until you get enough strength.
Right.
But you can pare that down, and I think it's great to get involved early, for sure. Especially with your parents. Go on out. Yeah. Have fun. Learn to love it, and then it'll develop. Right. But there are people that start much later that can develop into really good players, but like you were saying, it's a passion.
Yeah.
Find what you're passionate at, I guess, and go after it. But golf does take some time, and you better love it if you want to get really good at it.
It's the kind of game that you can just have a terrible day and want to quit. And then at some point you do something surprisingly well. Shocks yourself. And this is, I'm really describing me. This is probably not your experience, but for me, I can have a terrible most games, and then something will happen that I'm like, I'm okay at this, and then that sucks you right back in.
Well, 99% of the people that play golf are not very good.
I've seen that.
It's very true. Yeah. Most of the people that play just are not that good, but what's the attraction? There's a social attraction for sure.
Yeah, I like that part.
And that's what I think is probably the best part of the sport for the masses.
Yeah.
But if you want to get into highly competitive golf, it's a different deal. There's still a social aspect involved, but it's not the same as I guess what you'd say, Thursdays here at Bear Creek. And that's not what highly competitive golf is. It's golf, but it's recreation and social.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about men's night. I think most golf clubs have a men's night. A lot of them have ladies' night, and they have different things, for different nights of the week. And men's night was always fun. It's been a while since I've played. Part of the problem is I don't have a regular foursome. When I did, I was working a lot more, for the man, the man being a colonel or whatever. So like, but you try to. I really did enjoy the social aspect. I still do enjoy the social. I contribute to a lot of losing tournament golf teams, and in just that's pretty much all. Like the scrambles.
That you have to remember. Maybe you don't remember, but we actually competed on the same team.
Yes,
and won a tournament together.
I know that was a pro-am, wasn't it?
That was another, but in Mason City.
Oh,
it was a National Guard.
Yes,
that's scramble.
Right. Yeah,
and we dominated.
Yes. Oh, because I was there.
No, if you remember, you made a couple of bombs.
I had a couple. Team. Those are the things that suck you back in.
Oh yes,
and I do remember that now. We had some guys on that team that were obviously, but then we had some good golfers too. Some of the guys that had come up from Des Moines and Cedar Falls, and that's kind of their hobby. And the one guy, my buddy, Paul, he can just send that ball so far. Not great on the short game, but that's why you work as a team in that case.
The scramble.
I like the team aspect of it, but golf is really it's an individual sport.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, and that's what, start talking high school and college golf.
Yeah.
You have, it is considered a team sport, but there's definitely the individual component is what drives the game.
Right.
You have to play well individually to contribute to the team.
Right.
So, but what we're talking about with the scramble, I mean, you're all on the same.
Yeah.
You're playing the same hole, same ball.
Yeah.
And have one score where
I wouldn't say I'm always playing the same ball. We'll start from the same spots. I'll usually abandon the ball that I can't find. So I'll go through many, many golf balls in a game. But my father-in-law loves to find golf balls, so it's very convenient because at Christmas time, he'll give everybody golf balls. And I'm pretty sure he picks through and cherry picks out the good ones, and he probably delegates them. I know he does this. Like, he will find thousands of golf balls just at Bear Creek, and he turns them back. He cleans them all up. It's his hobby now. I mean, besides golfing, and he'll clean them up, and he'll sort them out, and he'll give most of them back to the golf course, and then the golf course just sells them as used balls and found balls or whatever as a donation. So that's great for the course, and he loves doing it. It's good exercise for him. I have noticed at Christmas that my brother and sister-in-law, Reed and Juliana, they are great golfers and won the couples tournament in Iowa a few times and all of that. And they always seem to get, I guess I've never seen golf balls like that because they look the same, but I guess they're really much better golf balls if there is such a thing. And then my kids, it kind of works down, as they get, and then I get this dilapidated bag of what is left over, and I mean, that's perfect for me. It's the ones that some of them have burn marks from when they burn the course, along the river, and I get those because look, let's be honest. I mean, I'm going to lose it again, so I've got a lot of those type of. Is there a difference in golf balls?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. And you can see by the price tag, but you can feel on the cover. It
really
has a lot to do with the spin rate that you have, and what will happen around the greens in short game. But a lot of people that play this sport are looking for more distance.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily at a highly competitive level. That's a component, but it's not that actually the most important aspect of the game. And but it's fun to see that ball go a long way. No question about it. So if you can get a piece of equipment that will that will get you another 5, 10, 20 yards. Great.
I do like to see the golf balls go a long way, and sometimes they do for me. What I always encourage anybody that I'm golfing with to do is to look to the left.
Look to the left.
Because that's probably where it's going to go. It's going to go a long ways. Don't look down the fairway, you know. And then they see these guys on TV that are playing like, oh, he's really in the rough and by the trees, and they got a bad lie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's perfect. I know exactly where that guy. I mean, I know that's my land.
The something that I was introduced to, boy, this would have been in probably about 1995. Was the sport of Bolf.
What's that?
The sport of Bolf. You're wondering, what the heck could we do with that? Well, it's a combination of baseball and golf. And it wouldn't be uncommon for maybe some kids to get a baseball bat out and hit golf balls. Mm-hmm. Ball goes a long way.
Yeah.
But I was working at a golf course in Mankato, Minnesota, and one of our regulars, he came out and he was using the driving range with this bat. I was curious.
Yeah.
And got the conversation started. You were talking about accounting earlier. He was an accountant.
Okay.
But he loved baseball and he loved golf. But he just was never that good at golf. But he wanted to find a way to get both of the sports together because he loved spending time outside on the golf course, and but he wanted to be better. And somehow he met up with another gentleman that was a pretty highly competitive softball player. Same deal. He loved golf, loved baseball, softball. Wanted to get both of these passions together, and they invented this game called Bolf. And so it was a modified fungal bat. So it was wooden.
Okay.
And so there were a lot of the same rules of golf and baseball together to make the combination. So you play this on a golf course as if you were playing a regular 18-hole round of golf, but you can pick the ball up, toss it in the air, and hit it like you were hitting fungal bats. It was a modified fungal bat. Okay. And so you had 3 strikes. If you missed the ball 3 times, that would give you a stroke. But if you tipped it, it would count it as a stroke. But you'd play the entire hole that way by throwing it up in the air and hitting it down, hopefully the fairway. But the best thing about it for somebody that wasn't great at golf was that the ball didn't curve nearly as much. You know, in golf, you can see some of your, hopefully it's not you, maybe it's your the people you're playing with have these golf balls that curve drastically. I mean, they could go left or right very quickly. Not with a baseball bat.
Really?
And so it goes down the fairway, and you just keep going down, get it into the hole. The hardest part of the game, in my opinion, was the short game. You get around the green, you had to find a way to chip, but you're throwing the ball up in the air.
So it's with the bat the whole time.
It's the bat the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And so you get if your ball happened to fall into a bunker, you pick it up and hit it. Throw it up in the air, toss it, and hit it onto the end of the green. So you actually had 2 of these bats, but they were called clats, club, bat together, form the word clat. But the other clat was a putter. So it was a modified fungal bat with a putter attached to the end. So so it was a funny looking putter, but that's how you putted on the green. So that was the only time you didn't throw it up in the air. So we got these guys were passionate about it. They wanted to get it, if we would be, if they were able to play this on the golf course. They wanted to know if it was something that they could do, and why not? I mean, you're not doing anything. The behavior was great, and no divots.
That's true.
So the maintenance of the golf course did not suffer whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But it got to a point where we actually formed a league, and there were a number of golf courses throughout the country that were doing this, and so I got involved in the league. Because I was curious. I love baseball too, and but we actually had a tournament to qualify for what was called the Clasters, the Masters of Bolf.
That's great.
And so I actually qualified for the Clasters.
Okay.
And it was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We went and participated in this tournament. It was just these people passionate about Bolf. I don't know where it is at this point. I'll have to look up and see. But I haven't played in years. But so I don't know how far it's gone, but
that's amazing. I could see how that would be appealing. I'm sure the social side of it is just as fun.
Same exact thing.
You know, you think about the home run derbies and the softball guys. You know, they like, are they playing softball or are they, pounding beers? But I guess that's similar in some way for some folks. Is it a? I mean, some people say that if like the baseball or softball swing is going to mess up your golf swing. Are there two different things, or it doesn't do it?
The only people that will tell you that are baseball coaches that don't play golf.
Okay, all right.
We actually use baseball bats a lot to help train for golf.
Really?
They're both rotational sports. A lot of similarities, but there are baseball coaches that are passionate about golf as well, and they understand.
Yeah.
And so that's something that was invented by probably a coach long ago that just couldn't play golf very well, and that's the reason why you're not batting very well. You got a golf swing, and or vice versa. So it's
okay. No,
you can play both very, very well.
Well, I'm glad to have that myth dematerialize, because actually it doesn't explain Carl Woldridge. I could never. I'd golf with Carl sometimes. He's been on the show, and of course he was as an official for softball, and I was just like, man, I feel like you've got a real softball swing going on here. But he didn't take any advice. He doesn't take any advice. He gives it, but doesn't take it very good. So not that I'm in a position to be giving advice anyway. So that's probably combine those things. That's probably what the reality was.
But it'd be it's something that's a lot of fun to do, and like I said, it may be an attraction for somebody that would like to be outside. But I think golf is, as we know, it's one of those sports that you can play forever.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not going to be a competitive football player for forever. Right. Baseball, softball, maybe some church league someplace you could fit in for softball, but
for a while.
It gets to a point where you're not. Or alumni basketball, I guess that can that can satisfy the competitive juices for a basketball player for once a year, but.
We're seeing in our town, we do have an alumni basketball tournament, which I think is unique, and lots of classes come back and have done that for 40 years and playing in that with the Parks and Rec, and that's always fun around just after Easter, I think, is when that is, or somewhere in there.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, you age out of that eventually. And then again, if you're really not good at basketball, like me, it's really more of a social thing to do. But I've seen that through the sports boosters here in town that the alumni golf tournament has just really exploded. And I think it's the same thing, that people are like, well, we can go out, enjoy the day, hopefully enjoy the weather. And, you're competing with each other, but you're socializing, you're having fun, and you're also probably not getting injured in most cases.
You're exactly right. And I think that'd probably be case in point right there. I mean, take a look at who's participating in that event, and 99% of the people that are playing are not that good, but that's fine. You still had a great time, and every year got 180 people playing in that event, and coming back to see friends, family, foes, and just enjoying their time on the golf course.
Hello, friends and neighbors. This is Troy Thompson of the Sunnyside of Life. Let's spend this year together reading the Word of God. Just take 10 to 15 minutes a day to join with me in the Sunnyside of Life's Bible in a Year experience. It may be just what you need. Lord knows I do. Besides, it's free, it's fast, and it's good for your soul. And you can start anytime. It doesn't take much to get caught up and on pace with us each day. So, whether you've read the Bible entirely already or you're just looking for a way to get it done, take a few moments with me here and let the good book be the sunny side of your life each and every day. I started playing golf. You talk about, when you start. I don't remember what age I was. I would guess that I was in junior high. And growing up on the farm, we didn't play golf. Not that farm people don't, they do. It's just that our family didn't. Some families hunt, some families don't. And then if you don't do it, you're not exposed to it. But what happened was my grandpa and grandma started going to Texas every winter. And I think my grandpa took up golf down there very late in life. I mean, well, it doesn't seem very late now that I think about it. He's probably in his, 60s, or whatever. And he kind of got invested to some degree, not crazy invested. I mean, but he got invested and he bought some clubs. And then he actually here at Sunnyside built 3 holes. He built his own 3-hole golf course out here, which we've lost one of the holes because when we redid the barn, we just had a lot of trucks and traffic and moving dirt and everything like that. But the other 2 holes are still there. They're not very good, and they aren't maintained like at some point, they just started getting mowed, and they weren't, they're not greens like you would want them. But we would start off at the little building right next to this barn, and that was his shop back then. And you could go out the east door, and that's where he had his golf clubs. And then it used to be a hog building, a very small hog building. And so that was like an old, I suppose, maybe a lot or something like that. So in that, it was like a natural tee box is what it was. Yeah. So it was like that was our tee box. So then we would shoot, shoot from there south, just south of this barn, before the road. Well, as I got older, get over the road because it's really, maybe 80 yards, 60, 70 yards, something like that. So, pitching wedge and all that. And then you'd shoot from there all the way north and go up here another, that's probably 200 yards or whatever. And then you'd go west, and then you'd just keep playing back and forth. And that was how he practiced. And I don't think he was ever very good, but what was great about it for me was he was learning, and I spent a lot of time over here. And so one of the things that he taught me was the things that he was learning from a golf coach at whatever age he was. So taking it seriously. And so how to hold the club, kind of the Harvey Pennick, basics and stuff like that I realize now, having read the Little Red Book and all that, but like those were the things that he was teaching me. And so I felt like I was getting through him what he was retaining when he got back from Texas, and we would, play golf, and then I would come out and play golf out here and on these 3 holes, and they were like, he didn't have it wasn't a green, like it was very mowed very low, but it was pretty rough, and
really neat.
All that. It was about getting it onto the green. I'm
impressed you pulling that the name Little Red Book out in Harvey Pennick.
Yeah.
That's a classic. It's one of the classic read for any golf. Anybody interested in golf.
So hold the club like you're holding a little bird, strong enough to keep it from getting out of your hand, but not enough to kill it. Yeah.
How many people hold a bird?
Maybe they have to update that to something now,
I don't know.
Hold it like you hold your phone. No, don't hold it like that. I don't know. I think somebody gave that, probably my father-in-law gave that to me 20 years ago because he saw me play golf, and he's like, let me tell you something. There's a book you should read. You like to read, right?
Yeah.
It's not a very big book, so, go ahead and that is a classic.
It's a quick read too, but you can pick it up, set it down, and not lose your place. It's really neat. Yeah, some good lessons in there.
And the rules of golf. It seems like there's a lot of rules of golf, man. But a lot of them are also just, how you conduct yourself on the course. There's a lot of etiquette.
get me going on the rules. I'm definitely a golf rules geek.
Yeah.
That's where this passion has led, down the road of the rules of golf. And I'm actually a member of the PGA National Rules Committee.
Oh.
So I get an opportunity to referee some of the biggest championships in the world.
Really? See, that's why we brought you on the show.
It's I think there are 35 of us that are on this committee from all over the place, but from the PGA of America, we're the ones that do the Ryder Cup, the PGA Championship, the Senior PGA Championship, the get invited to people that are on the committee get a chance to do some of these. I mean, there's always a few that do the Masters, the U.S. Open, PGA Championship. I mentioned that, but so yeah, I have to keep up on that. But it's that's not for somebody. If you start reading the rules of golf, you better love this topic, because I think that could just bore somebody to death. But it's something that I fell into years ago, but the passion has led down that track. So I get a chance to rub shoulders with the greats of the game up close and personal, and hopefully help them.
Yeah.
But you don't always get yourself in that position. Sometimes when there's a rules official involved, it may not be for something you did well.
Right.
But you're trying to find a way to save shots. And
so it's the rules committee.
Correct. Yeah. So
I mean,
so
I've
we
only
go to
heard that referenced in like Happy Gilmore. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Well, when you so on TV, you'll see. I mean, hopefully we're not front and center.
Right.
I mean, we're supposed to be out of the way, but when there's an issue, you'll see players call in a rules official because they don't want to do something incorrectly,
right,
and lose shots. You're playing for a boatload of money and prestige, so you have to get it right, and you have to be. So you have all of this. It's incredible the knowledge of the rules that are on this committee, and you have a radio that you can communicate with in case you need a backup. But it's not the same as a basketball referee where you have to make a decision right away, and half the crowd thinks you're right and half the crowd thinks you're wrong. The rules are pretty of golf are very very clear, but they're also muddied because you have situations that arise that may have never been contemplated, and so you have to move yourself through those situations, and hopefully you make friends and not enemies when that happens.
This week on Walker Golf Course Ranger, we join Walker as he stakes out hole number 5. The eyes of the ranger are upon you, watching you from a golf cart far away. Now what do we have here? Well, let's take a look through the old spyglass. Yep. It looks like a foursome of felons committing slow play on number 5. Let's see here. We got one guy on the box, dressed like a Nike ad. And there's one practice swing. Another fella over there peeing in the bushes, even though we got a restroom right behind him. Another unnecessary practice swing for Mr. Nike. Oh, look at that. He's going to have to step away and readdress the ball for some reason. What are you doing? Oh, well, now he's getting some advice from the fatso on the cart. I doubt that'll help him. Okay, Mr. Peepee is done. I hope he knows that was a bunch of nettles he just whizzed in. And now we're going back to the tee. Captain Nike is, what in the world? He's just gyrating and doing some knee bends. Got a $600 driver there. I'm going to bet this dude chunks it. There we go. One more practice swing. That was it, buddy. Should have gone with that one. Oh, now this buddy. Oh, what's this? Now his buddy's coming over here to show him something he thinks is funny on his phone. Oh, it's a video. So now we all get to wait for him to watch it. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's a funny video, I bet. Now Fatso wants to see it. I'll just take it over to him on the cart so he doesn't break a sweat. Oh, no. He's going to lumber up to the tee box so he can see the funny video, too. Okay, got to restart it, of course. Oh, but it's so funny. Yeah, you got to see it. It's so funny. Oh, yeah, here we go now. Oh, we got a group of ladies finishing up behind them on 4. Now they're moving over to the tee box. This is great. Of course, they'll have to wait for these pros to finish teeing off first. And, now the video's over. That's so funny. Look at their laughter. Now, lots of laughter there. Oh, yeah, they're high-fiving. Okay. Oh, what's this? Fatso wants to share a cigar. Why not? His heart is in good condition. That makes sense. Nope. Nike boy needs to tee off. Come on. Ladies are waving. PP boy walks over to say hello. Sure, why not? Pat her on the shoulder. PP hand. I see number 4. I'll call him Freddie Footjoy. He's just asking the ladies if they want to play through. That's a good idea. No. I wonder why not. Okay, well, we've got to get this rolling or else I'll have a pile up here on 5 now. Now there's Captain Nike. Another unnecessary practice swing and, one more. Why not? Here we go. Come on, fellas. And swing. Chunked it. It didn't make it past the ladies' tee. Yep. Now PP Boy's telling him he has to drop trow, and the ladies are scandalized, except for maybe that drunk one. Nope. No, Nike, you can't have a mulligan. And here comes the zipper. And we're going in. The eyes of the ranger are upon you, watching you from a golf cart far away. Is there an international rules committee then? I mean, golf is a sport. Did we import it from Scotland? Is that what they claim, or wherever it came from? Or do we do our own thing over here? Well,
the USGA, the United States Golf Association, the R&A, the Royal and Ancient, and then the PGA of America all get together, and every 4 years there's a new version that will come out, or updates at least to the rules of golf. The latest one was 2023, and it went from 24 rules to 25. Before that, in 2019, we had 34 rules before that. Then it went to 24, and now it's 25. Okay. But why is that? It's just edits and updates. Not that the rule changed pretty drastically in 2019. 2023 wasn't a huge update. Rule 25 that was added was for players with disabilities, is what it's called in the rules.
I was wondering about that. Because this goes back further than 2023. There was a guy that, you probably can think of the name right off the top, but a pro who, had claimed the inability to walk, so wanted to be able to take a cart. And
Casey Martin.
Yeah. And so in the game, we all ride around in our carts, but we're not pros. And so that's a part of the competition is the endurance of, walking the course and all of that. And he said, well, I can't do that. And so that was quite a while ago. I feel like that was 10, 15 years ago.
Casey Martin is still around, not playing competitively. He's the golf coach at Oregon, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But he still plays well. He actually qualified for the U.S. Open, which is very, very difficult. Probably within the last 5 to 8 years. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but he had been kind of on hiatus from professional golf because of his limitations, but he's been in collegiate golf for a very long time now. But he was at the forefront of that, and there were a lot lot of people that were for him and a lot of people that were against him. But ultimately, he did win, and he was playing with a golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, I think some players would say, yeah, he maybe had an advantage, but at the same time, he was playing on one leg.
Right.
That's a pretty big disadvantage. So it was just a way for you to get from point A to point B, so he could hit that next shot.
Right.
And but yeah, very highly publicized case that was ultimately decided in the courts, and he did win out.
So they have, if you're not familiar with the game of golf, it is something that you can play your whole life. It is something that is, to some, I guess I'm not say prorated or however you want to put it, but if you're in, they've different places to start at the tee box, and it's typically you've got a tee for the ladies, the folks that are over a certain age. Yeah, what age is that? The gold tees are. It's
going to depend on the golf course. I mean, truly,
that's where I should play.
They really don't have names, and in golf in general has tried to
get away.
Just call them the forward tees or the middle tees or the back tees, instead of referring them to, as we all know, the ladies tee, the senior tee, the pro tees.
Yeah.
Golfers still know who's playing from there. So I mean, the wording probably doesn't change a lot, but truth be told, just find a place where it's going to be comfortable to be able to play. Golf is a lot more fun when your score is lower.
Yeah,
and you don't lose as many golf balls.
See,
and let's just find a place where your abilities are going to be put to the test, but not so much to the test that you don't want to come back.
Well, and so my father-in-law would say you should really be playing from the gold tees, the forward tees, and of course, as as a younger man, I was like, well, I'm not gonna. Can you imagine with your buddies and rolling up there? It's like, I'm gonna play from up here because I enjoy the game. I don't lose as many balls, and they're gonna be like, okay, whatever.
Exactly.
So there is a little bit of that. That's probably what prevents a lot of people from playing from the right spot in the first place. I'm going to play from the back tees. Would you please not do that? We're here.
Yeah. And you're right. It can create an advantage or a disadvantage, but at the same time, you're trying to have fun. And it's hard to get a group that's all the same ability level. So you got to find some way that everybody can enjoy themselves. I mean, if a person can't get the ball into the air, I mean that's going to take a long time to complete the hole. Let's find a place where they can still have fun with us, or play a different format, maybe be best shot instead of playing their own golf ball, because that can be pretty intimidating. Just ask people when they get up to the first tee what they feel like. Even though nobody cares what's happening to their golf ball, they still think everybody does.
Right.
And, a lot of nerves and playing in front of people. That's a big part of golf.
Yeah. How you look. There seems to be there's a whole industry obviously around every sport, but golf comes with it as well. And so whether it's the apparel that you wear, there's a whole line of golf shoes, a variety of styles, and some are open-toed and some are the old-fashioned, look like you just came out of the bank. And then there's other, just everything in between. Now they're more like sports shoes and like almost like running shoes that you'd see, and just a variety of those things. And then, of course, the shorts and the golf shirts that now has taken over corporate America, and people quit wearing ties and now they're wearing golf shirts, I guess, everywhere. And so there's that. And then there's the headgear and the eyewear, and And then besides, a person can get really crazy with all of the different magical sticks that they can buy. Whether it's you gotta have your irons and your woods and your putter and all of that. And then there's a bunch of mid-woods and different magical things that I don't quite understand what they do. And then there's also all of the accoutrement that comes along with it, like just the ability to the range finders and they have apps on your phone for many courses, and then outside of that we can play indoors, and we can hit into a screen and play any course in the world and whatever it happens to be. So golf is huge.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier that we can't play golf year round in Iowa, but
right.
Not true anymore.
That's correct. Yeah,
you can play a lot of golf courses year round.
Yeah,
indoors, but it's a great way to train and to have fun as well during the winter time. Like we were saying, if you want to be good at this, you do have to spend some time, and that's living in this climate. You need to find ways to continue developing and improving while in the off season, and that's definitely a tool that's available now.
Now, I've always thought, just jumping completely the track, you're a coach as well, coach at Waldorf University, men's and women's.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you've been doing that for quite some time. How long have you been doing that?
2011, I started here at Waldorf University.
And you, so now with the Waldorf season, the university season, is that a spring or fall sport or both?
Both.
Yeah.
It's one of the unique sports that ends up being year round. I mean, all the sports have some kind of year round component, but golf has both a fall and spring competitive season. And so about half your season is in the fall, half is in the spring, and that's universal throughout collegiate golf. The spring is typically what you would call the championship season, meaning that's when conference championships typically take place, and the national championship and so forth. So the fall season is getting kind of in position for that. And then spring, that's where it really ramps up for that conference event, because the conference tournament is, if you can win that, you automatically qualify for the national tournament, which is everybody's goal. If you have any ounce of competitive juice, you want to get to the national tournament, because that's the epitome of your sport. So so that'll be our first competitive our first tournament this spring will be March 22nd and 23rd down in Maryville, Missouri.
Okay.
So just in a couple of weeks, we'll be going down there. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get a round or two in here before, but that doesn't always happen either.
Right.
Golf courses, we don't know when that open date will be.
Right.
So we have to kind of utilize our indoor facilities as best we can, and go down and perform, even though we may not have been outside yet. Now,
I think that so I was told, and you're the university coach on this, so let me know that if you're a female golfer and you're okay or good, don't even have to be great. But there is a program in college for you potentially that you could play, because is it harder to find female golfers at the university scholarship level?
No doubt. And it just is it's a numbers game. There are more boys that are playing than girls, and more at a competitive level as well. When I say competitive level, girls that like to compete in tournaments, and because that's what college golf is all about. I mean, yeah, there's a social aspect to it, but you're going to just like being on the basketball team. I mean, you're practicing, you're trying to play well in the tournaments, and so it's the competitive nature of it, and that's pretty universal. There's just there are just more boys than girls that play. So we're always trying to grow that aspect of the sport. Hopefully, more and more girls get into it and find out that they really do like it, and hopefully they can pursue it at the collegiate level too.
I've noticed here that the social aspect of it, and at Bear Creek, for example, my sister-in-law was the club manager, the pro there for a while, and she, I think, did a great job of kind of getting these programs going for the youth, for one, but then also with the ladies' night. And those ladies' nights on Wednesdays are, I mean, I see pictures that are on Facebook, and they're dressing up and having, it's a social event for sure, but it's very popular.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I suppose the younger that people are exposed to that, the more they can appreciate it. Although that would not be the atmosphere in a college game,
they're two different animals, and so you're looking at what you're referring to as more of a social aspect, which is great, and that's we need that in golf.
I've been on committees. And they're like, I can't be there Wednesdays. We have ladies' night. And I was like, all right, okay, all right, So
well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have more females that have gotten into the sport and find that they can enjoy this without having to be a player that shoots par.
Yeah.
Because that. Like I was saying before, 99% of the people that play are not very good.
Right.
So if we were relying on the 1% to for all these golf courses that we have, they'd all go under because there's just not enough people that play at that level.
I had a particularly good game, and I didn't break 100, but I was like right at 100, I was doing pretty good for me. And I came back and I shared this exciting news with my father-in-law, who's been golfing since they invented the game, I think. And he said, and I was like, I'm getting so close to par. It's just great. I'm really I'm like, I mean, I had a great game today, and never seen that again, by the way. And he goes, well, par is average. I mean, that's what that means. And I don't think he meant it to discourage me, but boy, that was a real windfall for me. I was like, or took the air out of my sails. That's not a windfall in that sense. It's just a complete opposite. I was like, I'm not even average.
Long way to go. A long way to go.
Yeah. Hey, folks, this is Troy Thompson, and I just wanted to break in here. Now, as you know, we are not monetized. However, you can buy us a coffee. There'll be a little emblem that says you can support the show on whichever platform it is that you are listening to the Sunny Side of Life, and I would be darn honored if you bought me a coffee, so to speak. Or I think the emblem, I changed it to a beer, which seems, to be honest, probably more appropriate. So buy me a coffee, buy me a beer, whatever it is, and that helps support the show so we can continue to develop more and more great skits and have more and more great conversations just like this. And if you do, great. If you don't, that's just fine too. Just wanted to let you know. Now back to the show. Well, I always thought it was strange that if you have a collegiate competition in the spring and the fall, I always thought it was odd that in high school it's just in the spring, and in our neck of the woods that can be incredibly challenging depending on the weather and the different courses that you're going to play at and all of those things. I always thought, well, you've got a whole summer to go out and work. Would that be a better fall sport, you would think? But there's also volleyball and cross country.
There have been a lot of discussions with that here in Iowa. The larger schools do have fall golf for the boys.
Okay.
Wisconsin, they play in the fall. South Dakota plays in the fall.
Those are the same states, though. Am I right? That are also playing their diamond ball too. They're playing baseball and softball in the fall.
This is what's happening with what's unique to Iowa is that we have baseball in the summertime,
right?
Which softball, I do think is great from the aspect. Well, from that point of view, that smaller schools to be able to put together a track team, a golf team, and a baseball team. that would be hard.
Right.
And so you'd be running into, I mean, people would really have to, we'd have to have a lot more two-sport athletes, which wouldn't necessarily be bad, but having the high school season for baseball, softball in the summer, I think does help out with those numbers a little bit. So that's always been from a weather aspect. Yeah, you're completely right. The fall would definitely be more conducive, but you have to think of these other I'm not going to say roadblocks, but issues, challenges, I guess, that you have with the sport. So
it's kind of there's no better. I am a fair weather golfer for sure. Like I have friends, family members that will. We have a family friend. I don't remember Kevin Shimo or whatever.
Absolutely.
Oh, he would golf in a hurricane. He probably does. Now that he's in Florida, but like just. And they'll travel all over and play all these golf. I mean, that's part of their vacation and the planning for that type of stuff. And I've never planned a vacation around golf for obvious reasons. That doesn't mean that I haven't been on vacations with the extended family and that's involved with it. And I don't mind. And I've played some fun courses. I mean, I'm sure they're fun for a good golfer. For me, it's the same thing. Here I am in the trees again. I can do this anywhere. But I do. Some guys, they play in every type of weather, and that is like for me. I was like, what a beautiful day it is today. I don't have anything on my plate. I'm going to go golf, and I'm always hoping that that's on a Monday because there's no one at the course on a Monday, and so I can be as practicing as I need to be. But even when I practice, I will say this, and I'm not bragging, but I am a guy who I don't know all the rules clearly like you do, but I do try to play by the rules. The gimmies, I don't like gimmies. I don't like a club length. You got to play it where it lies. And unfortunately for me, that takes me into some very interesting, geography, but I think that's how the game is meant to be played. So I've seen all the ponds and the river. I don't even understand. That's like a magnet to me. And I don't know, get the river situation. Some people say that water does attract golf balls, but I don't know if that's true. It seems to be for me. And so even when I'm playing by myself, I'm not, I guess I look at it like a game where you're just competing against yourself anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're cheating, you're just cheating yourself.
Cheating yourself.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And that's what competitive golf is.
Yeah.
And so you could probably be a really good competitive golfer with that.
Somebody's got to come in last. But
well,
some of those guys that
bad.
come in last, they still get paid. I mean, is it true?
You got to make the cut.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
You're not
what you're
getting
saying.
last.
Yeah.
You're making the cut.
Not last overall.
No.
Like in this country, but I don't. Golf is in professional sports. I mean, isn't that the highest paying sport or one of the highest paying sports, I think, individually?
No.
Or not anymore?
No. I mean, they don't have guaranteed contracts.
Oh, that's true. You got to actually earn it.
You have to earn it. You're not paid unless you play well.
Right.
Unless you make the cut. Unless you're in one of these events that's a no-cut event. But if you get to one of those events, you've played well.
Yeah.
The only way you get to a no-cut event is if you played well at some point. So that's your payday, I guess, so to speak. But golfers at the highest level do well.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about top 125 players, 125 players.
Right.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah, there's like at least 300-400 people that play the game of golf.
Oh, there are more than that. But I mean, there's so we have when you think about trying to be a competitive golfer as a profession, just play tournament golf. I mean, a lot of people will toil on mini tours for years and years and years. They're paying $1,000 to play in a tournament to hopefully win $2,000.
Right.
And you do that 20, 30 times without winning much. going to deplete your savings.
Yeah, for sure.
But so it's a tough gig. There definitely there could be a payday for somebody, but it's difficult. There's no question about it. Those are the best of the best. It's think even from a perspective in other sports. I mean, basketball. There are not many people on an NBA roster.
Right.
And it's just the top players that are getting guaranteed contracts and multi-million-dollar contracts. A lot of players will toil in that industry for a long time too. They get paid, but they're not getting millions, hundreds of thousands, which is still good.
Unlike basketball, they're not the player. The golfers aren't saying that they need to have some guaranteed time off from games. I don't know what that's called, but that's come up in the last year where I don't watch a lot of NBA at all, but I know that they were whining about not having enough time off. And I think if you're a professional golfer, you're like, if I have time off, I'm not getting paid. So, right. And these guys want paid time off on their gazillion-dollar contracts, and what if they had to qualify to get into each game? That would be interesting. LeBron.
It would be very interesting. He had to play in.
Yeah,
he wanted to get some time.
Didn't make the cut this week, I guess. Yeah,
and so there are differences. There's no doubt. And the top players do very well, but there's no guarantee. I mean, every week you can go down the list. And see who is not in the tournament and who didn't qualify. And you're like, wow, I mean, I remember when that guy was on the Ryder Cup team. I remember when that guy won this tournament. And here he wasn't able to, his status wasn't high enough to be able to participate in whatever event it is. So
is it a game that is more, what's more important, fundamentals or mental?
I think it's going to depend on what level of competitiveness you're at. Starting out, definitely fundamentals, and those never go away.
Right.
You have to have good fundamentals because you're just not going to survive for very long if you don't have good fundamentals. At some point, it's going to break down. So I mean, you just can't jimmy rig something together and hope it'll stand the test of time.
Right. If you're a very confident person, you can still be a very confident poor golfer.
Yes.
Right.
And there's always that talk about, what comes first. Are you confident first, or do you have ability first? Well, like you were just saying, I think you can still be really confident, but that doesn't necessarily put the ball where you want it to go. You got to be able to get to a certain level, and once you get to a high enough level, your mental game is definitely going to be a more useful tool than it is at the beginning. You can be as confident as you want when you're starting out playing golf, but if you can't get the ball into the air, that confidence is going to erode pretty quickly.
Well, this is an interesting transition because a guy who's very, very, very confident in everything that he's done. You've played golf with him, and he certainly was at a high level, not necessarily of golf, but you played with Donald Trump?
I did play with Donald Trump. Okay. That was let's see.
Is he a very good golfer?
Excellent.
Is he really?
Yes. That's an interesting story. I had the great experience of being able to live and work in the Dominican Republic for a number of years.
Which, by the way, that's my favorite. When you learn Spanish, when you learn the countries, that's my favorite country in Spanish. La República Dominicana. I feel
excellent. I love that accent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I do everything. It's got to come with the perceived accent. Yeah. Very good. But that's my favorite.
That would be very good. But great place to go if you like 85 degrees and sunshine. And my office was literally 50 yards from the ocean. And so I had that to look forward to every single day.
And how long did you do that? You were down there for
about almost a decade.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And wonderful experience. And this particular golf resort development where I was at. It's called Cap Cana, Punta Espada Golf Club. But there was a Trump development at within the confines of the resort, just massive, miles and miles. I mean, from the entrance, it was about 5 miles from the entrance of the resort to the golf course. So it gives you an idea of the expanse of this. But he had a big development there, and they were selling off parcels of land. They were big parcels of land, about an acre.
Okay.
And they were up on top of this bluff. It was actually, that's the development. It was called El Farallón, which is bluff in Spanish. So it was overlooking the ocean and the Gulf and the entire resort. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And so they had him coming in to do an auction, an on-site auction of these parcels of land. And they were limited, but in about 3.5 hours, they sold $350 million worth of real estate.
Wow.
Just land. Wow. This had nothing to do with buildings. It was just the land.
All that money now goes to that one lady in New York.
Well, maybe. Isn't that interesting? About the same amount. But he... this was coming up, and it was going to be obviously a big media day, and he always has an entourage that comes with. Leading up to that, his people contacted me. I contacted my people, and he wanted to play some golf. Yeah, and I thought that would be cool. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, he's not president at this point.
No, this was probably 2008.
Okay.
Right in there, 2008, 2009, somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah. And so, that'd be great. And they were going to have a writer from Golf Magazine there with us to play. And because he's been involved with golf, as a number of golf courses, and they just wanted to do a story in Golf Magazine about all these, his involvement in golf and how successful they've been. And so, he came and comes into the clubhouse with his entourage. We have our photo ops, and here we are. He says, "Mark, you're ready to go?" He says, "Let's go out and warm up." And so we go out, and again, I mean, there's a couple hundred people probably going to be watching all of this. It's like a small television event. I mean, sure. He does that regularly. So it was nothing out of the ordinary, I guess, for him. But so we warm up, and he and I are in the same cart together, and the writer from Golf Magazine and in his own, and he's got a quirky swing, but plays very well. At that time he was a legit single digit handicap. And what you see with him on TV, that's exactly how he was in person. He was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But this guy that we were playing with from Golf Magazine was terrible golfer.
Oh, really?
And the Donald, he kept trying to give him tips. Yeah. And he's saying, "Mark, why don't you and I just go off on our own? This guy's terrible." And couldn't do that. That's why the guy was there. He made a special trip to cover
his
this.
First assignment for Golf Digest, and he's
covering this, and he can't get the ball airborne, basically. And but we're having a great time, and at that point too, I actually had a member at Punta Espada who was also a member at one of his courses in Bedminster, New Jersey, and we talked. We were trying to get together what would be called a home and home match. Basically, we'd bring members from our club to his club and vice versa. We'd go back and forth, have a traveling trophy, whatnot. Oh. it just never came to fruition for whatever reason. But he was great. He sent me a thank you note. Say, great having the time to spend with you, and hopefully, we have another chance to get together at some point. Great, I thought. That was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing that, but so probably it was within the next year. I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 12 months later. I'm in Puerto Rico playing in a golf tournament. It was a PGA Tour event, and they happened to be on another Trump golf course at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Trump development, and I was there playing, and but I needed to get back to the Dominican Republic because the time frame that happened. I needed to get back, and I had an airline ticket to get back on a Sunday, and this was Tuesday. I'm like, how am I going to get back to the Dominican Republic? I tried to change the ticket. They didn't have was no availability. I don't want to be staying here until Sunday if I don't have to. I can go back and go back to work and so forth. And this is a PGA Tour event, and there was a Pro-Am that day. And I was talking to the tournament director, telling him my troubles and challenges, and he says, well, and he was a friend of mine, and he says, Trump is here, and he says, I heard that he's actually going over to your place tomorrow to take a look at the development. He says, you should ask him if he can take you. I thought, that would be a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how am I going to get in touch with him? I mean, he was out on the course and he came by. He's always has this entourage of 20 people around, so it's nearly impossible to get close to him. But he said, well, there's a dinner tonight. He said, you should just come to the dinner and ask him there. Well, I'm going to do that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed up, and again, he's got the entourage there, hard to get to him, but happened to bump into his, I guess you'd call him his assistant. And I knew him too from our golf.
Mm-hmm.
And he remembered me. He said, yeah. I said, well, he told him what was going on. I was looking for a ride back to the Dominican Republic. And I heard that you guys are going to be going there tomorrow. He said, I said, would that be possible? And he said, well, let me ask him. He said, I'll give you a call here after I get a chance to talk to him. About an hour later, I get the call. He says, well, the plan is to take off at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I said, well, I'll be there at 8. So I get to the airport, in the private part of the airport. There's the Trump airplane sitting in the right outside with a red carpet, moving right up to the stairs. And I there, and it was his bodyguard was there. He said, yeah. Hi, Mark. We're expecting you. Come on in. We'll show you around. And so we got onto the plane, and he says, Mr. Trump will be here anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour from now, and we'll take off then. But we sat and talked a little bit inside there. This plane is unbelievable. It's like walking into a Four Seasons hotel.
Right. Or
chandeliers and
a Trump hotel.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. And king size bedroom, just exactly what you would picture, I think. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the Donald comes in. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Glad you could join us here today. We're going over to see your place again here. So saddle up, enjoy yourself. I mean, they got all the food you want and whatever. He said, enjoy yourself. Full bar sitting there if you want to imbibe. So yeah, I had a chance to fly in Donald Trump's airplane together with him.
Well, that's pretty good.
You can't make it up. It's true.
Yeah.
But one of the unique experiences I guess I had with golf and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Scott Bertelson. I was a public education instructor at Forest City High School for 39/40 Hoots counting years. And during that time, I learned a lot about myself and life, as I still am now in my retirement. That's why I am hosting Mr. B's Dinner Party on this podcast platform. And I hope that you will join me at the dinner table for conversational morsels for the mind. Now, you may be wondering what that is. Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. But let me guarantee you, you will leave my dinner table feeling full and feeling satisfied.
Join Mr. B's Dinner Party from Sunnyside Farm Studios every other Wednesday, premiering August 23rd, 2023.
Hope that you will join me for Mr. B's Dinner Party on this platform.
In the game of golf, you're going to meet some people, and you've been all over the place.
Yeah.
Pros at, you said the Dominican Republic, and you were up in Mankato, and where else? Any pros elsewhere? Or,
well, I mean,
truly
in the Dominican Republic, this facility where I was, it was very exclusive, very high end, and the truth is, every day there was somebody. Some movie star,
well, now you're going to have to name names.
Oh gosh, I could go
off of your head.
Well, I mean, one of my, I would say, probably one of the funnest events that we did annually was the David Ortiz Charity Golf Classic.
Oh yeah,
Dominican Republic being a big baseball hotbed. David Ortiz being arguably the best to ever come out of the country, and
he didn't play Bolf.
He did. Well, I introduced him to that.
Did
that
you?
Was that's interesting. You bring that up because I told him, I got something for you, and he was like, I need to check into that.
Yeah,
because but he had at the time anyway, he had a passion for golf, but it was a charity golf tournament. So he would bring in all the greats, especially Boston people. Yeah. Bill Russell, Bobby Orr.
Nice.
Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, I mean, not just baseball players.
No.
Basketball, hockey.
Well, I mean, and so I would play, I would play with, he didn't play in the event. He would kind of go around and, but we did a clinic together every year. So I get to make fun of him when out on the driving range, and he was great about that because he knew he was not a great golfer, but he was really good with people. And his wife at the time would come to, and they had big involvement in charity. So I would play with her in the tournament, and some of the Red Sox upper level management, or a player like one of the fun guys that we got to play with, Placido Polanco, another Dominican. But he loved golf, and he wanted to win this tournament. So it was a big deal to him to play well and be on a good team. So yeah, that was part of the attraction too. But so all these movie stars and athletes, they would come down, and we get a chance. I mean, Alex Rodriguez came one time, I remember, and it's really neat when you see all of these people together. Because you see them on TV,
right? And outside of that, being themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. And now here they are next to you, and they're people too. And so you're just, hey, this is great to have you here. You get a chance to have some meals with these people and spend some time on the golf course, right. And you find out that they're just people that are doing really well at their craft.
Yeah.
And they're human, and they have the same trials and tribulations of everybody else. They just happen to be in on TV more often than most.
Did Ortiz? Did he buy the Field of Dreams? Is
I do not.
Is he one of those guys that are developing that? I thought that he. I don't know. I guess I could have that wrong.
You might be right, but that I could see that happening. He would. He's big into finding opportunities. I think of that level as well. But he. I mean, my wife would tell you too. I mean, we got to know him well enough, we'd communicate back and forth outside of that as well, and his wife, and whenever you want to go to a game, let us know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And but he invited us to his birthday party, and so you're just among all these people that you see on TV all the time, and he's great at introducing you to whomever. This particular birthday party I'm thinking about in the Dominican Republic, the president of the Dominican Republic is there.
Wow.
That's who he runs with. And when you're at that level, I guess, of greatness in your sport.
Well, he's definitely a hero to the folks in the Dominican Republic, but also in Boston. He was the one that gave the speech after the Boston bombing, and at the game, and kind of. I think he was a little foul, but I think he got it's Boston, so we love listeners of this show know that we love Boston and we like the Red Sox, and been to several games, and of course you can't beat Fenway. It's just a great historical park and all of that. We were actually at the game when he came back from being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and so he was out there on the field. That's as close as I got to him.
You would love him. Because I do remember the first time I met him, was there. This was before the tournament even was even a tournament. He was just on property, kind of looking at the place and seeing what could happen. And it was late in the evening, and I was just taking a run around the golf course just for exercise. And he was with another manager from the resort, and they were looking at the golf course. And I was coming around, I guess it was up to hole number 17 there where it was on this golf course, and there's these people hitting ball after ball after ball, and I'm like, what are they doing? Because from a distance I didn't know who they were, but as I came up, that's David Ortiz, I think. Yeah. And so they called me over and introduced me and told me what they wanted to do and so forth. So he says, "Hey, can you help David out here with his swing?" Well, let me see what we got. The man is massive.
Yeah.
His hands are twice the size of mine.
Yeah.
And so he's powerful, as we all know. He hit that ball pretty far, a baseball very, very far.
Big popper, yeah.
But he was struggling to get the ball in the air. So it was incredible because in a matter of just a few minutes, a few fundamentals, holding on to that club and showing him how to swing it. First swing, I kid you not, that ball went 300 yards.
Wow.
He turns around, throws the club up in there, gives me this big bear hug, and he's like, "Oh, this is beautiful. I love this."
Yeah.
And so from then on, it was had a great time.
Yeah, you definitely got into the good graces of David Ortiz in that regard. Well, that's an amazing. Those are amazing interactions. You've had many, and it's interesting to know that while you're a hometown kid, you're living on the golf course here in Forest City. And for folks that don't know, you're also you're an instructor or professor. What do they call it?
Professor, I guess.
Professor, yeah.
Call me professor.
No big deal. But Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah. So when you were talking to Ortiz, are you talking in Spanish, or are you?
Depend on who we were with.
Okay.
If we were just alone, I mean, if he's in his element, he's in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
It's Spanish. But if
Right.
he, he can do English. Got a pretty thick accent, but he does just fine.
Yeah.
So that was good too. But both.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that helps too, just to be able to communicate effectively and have that relationship. And it has to be genuine. I think that there's something to, I'm not going to claim that Iowa's got the corner on the market in nice and genuine behavior, but I think that there is something to just being, we treat people with respect. We treat people as they are, just another person.
Exactly.
And I think that the folks that are, on TV a lot, or maybe get a lot of entourage attention and whatever it happens to be, I think that they've always kind of appreciated that. And we live in a community which is kind of weird in the sense that people come here from all over the place and have done for decades because of Winnebago Industries. And so I think, we've had folks on our golf course, at Bear Creek that are, I'd say some big names, and that helps when, there's a music festival, once a year next door.
Sure.
And so lots of, country music folks and all of that stop by, and whoever it happens to be. So it's always fun. I've never personally met any of them. That's I'm probably, I'm not at the golf course enough to do that, but I guess we've lent our cart to a couple of them, because back when Juliana was running the course, she's like, could we use your cart?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I was like, sure. Who's it for? Yeah.
Sit still. I said, I can't. Something's tickling me. She thought I was crazy. She said, well, open your coat. I unbuttoned my coat and opened it up. There was a mouse.
Stories. Everybody has them. The stories of our parents, grandparents, and our friends remind us who they are.
That's kind of what I think it is too, is memories. Growing up, my dad was an English teacher.
How they got here, and what they've learned on the way. What if you could collect as many of your loved ones' stories in a high-quality audio format to keep forever? What if you could share the sound of your loved one's voice, their laughter, and their thoughtful manner with your children? Or when you are simply driving to work?
He spent literally 3 months in North Dakota freezing buckets of ice water to make this awesome ice fort that we never spent time in, but it was amazing. For the moment it was done.
Well, you can with a Sunnyside of Life biography. Produced here at Sunnyside Farm Studios. I'll sit down with your loved one for 1, 2, or several sessions to record their stories.
I think my students are going to have good memories of me.
You'll receive the full raw recording, an edited selection arranged in audio chapters for easy reference, and produced segments you can use for family gatherings, special moments, or any time you just want to hear your loved one's voice.
And those are probably my most cherished things.
Share it with your family and make it a keepsake, because that's what stories are. Keepsakes of the time we had together.
Never forget that. I was petrified of mice after that forever.
Email your query for more information to troy@sunnysidefarmstudios.com. The email is also in this show's notes. Let me record your loved one's story so you can share the sunny side of their life in their own words for years to come.
I actually do kind of remember that now.
I'm going to wrap this up because I know you got to get on with the day. The season of golf is coming. Let's close out with, I guess, some things about your favorite golfer of all time. And
well, that's going to lead me into other stuff too, but that's fine.
That's great.
Jack Nicklaus.
Okay. Yeah.
And Tiger Woods. I'd say both of them, but Jack Nicklaus is definitely he's been my favorite ever since I started. I mean, vividly remember the 1986 Masters when he won at the age of 46. His 6th green jacket, but this golf course where I was in the Dominican Republic, Punta Espada, is a Jack Nicklaus designed golf course.
Okay.
So, and he had very hands-on with the design and so forth. So multiple encounters with Jack Nicklaus. But my all-time favorite has to be at the what was the opening of the golf course. Big deal. Probably 3,000 people here at this opening to watch Jack Nicklaus play 18 holes on his design and talk about what he had done, what the design was, what the future is, and so forth. Well, I got to caddy for Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, wow.
And you'd think, well, he's just going out to play a round of golf. And I kind of thought that that's how it was going to be leading up to the event. I mean, months of planning and what this event is all going to be. But the Nicklaus people, representatives, were like, oh no, this guy wants to play well. He said, this is not just ceremonial golf. He wants to play well. You got to be prepared. Oh, okay. So it's not just walking around with my caddy bib and his bag. It's he wants to play well. I got my yardage book. He wants to know how far he has, just like as if he were playing in a tour event. Okay, well, I prepared. I was going to make sure that happened, and it went extremely well. The man shot even par.
On his own course.
On his own golf course. Yep.
Did you say, I mean, that's just...
Well, I mean, I remember during the hole number 10, especially, I mean, he was mic'd up and talking about what he was going to do, and we were talking at the same time, so he was asking me questions about the yardage and this and that. He was talking about the design features and then what he would do, and so he's asking me on hole number 10, what do I have to the hole? I said, well, it's 147. He says, there's no way. That's 147. I said, it's 147. He said, where are you getting that from? I said, well, I pasted off. I said, I got it right here. He said, what's it to the front? I said, well, it's 138. All right. He hits it, and he hits it to about 3 feet. He says, good yardage.
Wow.
But he was great. He was intense. But my kids, our oldest, his name is Tyler Woods Clouse.
Okay.
And the second one is Jackson Nicklaus Clouse. And so Jackson was pretty young at the time. But on the 18th hole, when Jack was done, I mean, a couple thousand people right around the 18th hole, thanking everybody and this and that. So, and he knew about our son. His name was Jackson Nicklaus, and he wanted to meet him. So he grabbed him and have this great picture on the 18th hole with Jack Nicklaus, me, and our Jackson Nicklaus together. So great of the game, and
that's awesome.
So we got a chance to see that. So we have that up in the house. But it's a pretty cool memory.
That is an awesome memory. And Jackson he's in the band, because we were just recently down at the state basketball tournament, and he was playing the maracas.
Oh, he loves the maracas.
He is just like, I mean, I think they were panning the camera he had a following.
He got some airtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll have to see if he can't make a cameo in the future, because he loves playing in the band. He's a phenomenal piano player, but loves the band part. And to see him get such joy, I guess, from and spirit, I guess, for your team and for your school. We love it. It's great to see.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Well, Mark Clouse, there's so much more that there is in stories, just a whole encyclopedia of knowledge, certainly about the rules of the game of golf, the lessons that we learn, by playing them, the individual, you're playing against yourself and all of the good things that brings, the social aspect, all of the things that we've talked about. It's just been a wonderful experience having you out at Sunnyside today, and then and to encourage our listeners, if you're not very good at golf, then hey, you're in good company. I'm not either, but I think that I will say, I love being out on a well-manicured golf course on a beautiful day. I love the smell. I love the feel. Even if I don't like where the ball lies, which is most of the time, I do really appreciate the golf game and the lessons that it comes with. And when you're a good player like you are, and the people that you've met and the experiences you've had, we're very fortunate here in our little neck of the woods to have that your experience and all of those interactions as part of your biography right here next to Bear Creek. And so, yeah. No, and lucky at Waldorf University, too, as a coach and as a professor. Professor. Yeah.
Professor.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this is fun. It's fun to talk and kind of relive some of that stuff. And it definitely brings back memories and of things that have happened, and what golf has given me the opportunity to do. It brought me all over the world, and had a chance, like you said, to bump shoulders with some dignitaries and movie stars and athletes, and but really, really neat way to spend my career, I guess.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I do have to ask one question, because who's the worst golfer that everybody would recognize the name, that you wouldn't want to? They know they're a bad golfer, so you wouldn't offend them. You've played with? You said movie stars and all these other stuff.
Oh
yeah. You said Trump was a good golfer. Who was not a good one?
Who was bad
at the game, not person?
You know what? I can't really. That's a. I don't know who I'd put in that category. I mean, I saw some bad ones.
Well, let's do this.
I'd have to think about that.
I'll have to get this show to a much higher level so that I can have some status. Then you can watch me play, and then when the question is asked again, you'll say, "Hands down, Troy Thompson, worst golfer I've ever seen."
No, believe me, there are bad players out there, and if you think you're bad, there's somebody that's worse. There's no question.
Well, that is true. I will say, like for men's night, I did learn many years ago, just having the angst, I guess, the nerves of going out in your hometown and kind of starting the Thursday men's night and trying to, get into that and have a group. And sometimes you didn't have a group, or your group fell apart, but you're still out there, so you're going to golf. And then I friendly, so I'll talk to anybody, and started playing with whoever, it was a 3, so I'll join, or, whatever. And you find out very quickly that there's just a lot of very average golfers out there. And that made me feel a lot better.
A lot better. It's right. And it's very true. You can enjoy this game. You don't have, but you will enjoy it more if you get better.
Well, that's the goal. We'll give it a shot. All right. Well, thank you, Mark. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being a part of the sunny side of life. And thanks for being the sunny side of so many other people's life.
Hope so. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I want to thank all our friends and guests for stopping by for this episode of the Sunny Side of Life. All the Sunny Side of Life players who stopped by, creative support provided every day by my incredible wife Heidi and our fantastic 4 boys. Thanks to every one of our listeners. That means you. A big shout out to my brothers and sisters in uniform holding the line around the world. Share the word, folks. Let the people know what we're up to. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow us on social media. All skits are written or adapted and directed by me, Troy Thompson, and are produced here at Sunnyside Farm Studios and delivered to all platforms by Buzzsprout. Music and sound effects are provided by Soundstripe. The Sunny Side of Life is a weekly production about our life on the family farmstead here in Iowa, the liberties we prize, and the pursuits which make us happy. Now, none of this is possible without Christ in our lives. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory. So may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may the sunny side of your life, liberty and pursuits, be in Christ, and made evident unto you each and every day, and give you peace.